12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
Rain rolling over San Antonio once again. Some businesses saying they just can't catch a break from Mother Nature and it's impacting their revenue. We hear from them coming up.
Plus bags of crystal meth seized along with a gun. The undercover operation coming up. But first, new clues in a deadly hit and run case. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office also identifying the victim as 30-year-old Robert Edward Adams.
Investigators say he was reported missing on July 1st. His body then discovered 2 days later. There were still distinct markings on his body and debris that may be able to help in the case. Adams' body was found east of China Grove along U.S. Highway 87. Investigators say he was leaving a bar after a disagreement and was hit while walking along the roadway. Bexar County deputies say debris left at the site makes them believe the suspect's vehicle may be a 2002 to 2005 Dodge Ram truck with a grill guard. It's that mesh on the grill guard that Sheriff Javier Salazar says could be helpful in this case.
There's a distinct imprint on the front of these grill guards, so many times they're covered with a mesh. And that mesh, believe it or not, actually left marks on the victim's body. And so once we're able to find this truck, it should not be too hard to match up as being the one that may have struck and killed our victim in this case.
The suspect's truck is also believed to have damage to the right front end. Anyone with information that could help in this case should call Bexar County deputies at 210-335-6070.
One of the other big stories tonight, several rounds of rain hitting San Antonio this week. Areas that were already saturated or flooded are especially concerned about flooding once again.
Sky 12 over the Riverwalk, where crowds are expected this weekend. Meteorologist Katie Blake tracking the weather for us tonight. Katie?
Yeah, it's been a soggy week for us here in South Central Texas, and we're not done with rain chances completely just yet. We had that heavy and at times flooding rains even as recently as late this afternoon. Things really started to quiet down this evening, but looking at the latest Doppler radar image, we do have a couple of showers moving in pretty quickly from the south. They extend from South Bexar County out west toward Highway 90, the Highway 90 corridor there in Sabinal. These are moving quickly. They're spaced out enough that I do not anticipate any flooding issues this evening, but we are going to hold on to a low-end chance of some passing showers through the overnight hours, even through a portion of the day on Saturday. Overall, though, this weekend is looking like a really good opportunity for us to start to dry out here across South Central Texas. I'll have a detailed look at your forecast, another look at these showers sneaking in on radar coming up in just a bit. Isis.
Thank you, Katie. Well, instead of soaking up summer revenue, small businesses have been rained out. First the pandemic, then the February storm. Now a wet summer. The night team's Patty Santos tells us some businesses just want Mother Nature to give them a break.
People come to places like Splash Town to cool off, swim, and get wet. But when buckets and buckets of rain keep falling, well, it's just bad for business.
This week, we've been running at maybe a quarter of the attendance that we should during the week.
Rain in the forecast and high in the 80s does not make for good water park weather. Splash Town forced to reduce their business hours this week.
1 minute it's sunny and then the next minute you've got showers like this.
Out at the San Antonio Zoo, a few families not afraid of a little rain strolled in. But there's a huge cloud of financial uncertainty lingering over businesses which peak in the summer.
Ticket sales are so important to the zoo. We rely 100% on them.
Cool Crest Mini Golf Course had a poor May, okay June, and so far, a weird July.
We've only been open about 20% of the time since the weather's turned bad.
And when it rains, it pours. Other businesses connected to outdoor venues feeling the trickle too.
The other pieces of our business, which are the food trucks and the bands that come in, they're all affected by it.
Some businesses blossom when it rains, but even they can't keep up. Christy Rolfe with Liberty Lawn and Landscaping says with the rain comes lots of mowing and delays in landscaping jobs.
We're having to tell people that we are not able to take on any new customers.
By July 9th of last year, San Antonio had already seen 3 triple-digit weather days. We've seen none this year. Between July 1st and July 9th in 2020, we had no measurable rainfall. This year, we've already seen over 2.5 inches. Small businesses feel like they're drowning, but hold on to a ray of hope.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Isn't that what they say?
Okay, so while they're struggling to stay open, they also need more staff. Splashtown putting out a call for more lifeguards. And Liberty Lawn also says their calls for more crews have gone unanswered. So all of this is just a perfect storm of bad luck. Steve, EC.
Thank you, Patty. Businesses and livelihoods impacted by the rain. Initially for farmers, the rain was beneficial. But with the constant on and off showers this week, too much rain is becoming an issue for some crops. The Night Team's John Paul Barajas spoke to a farmer who's been planting full time since 1976.
Rain's been hitting San Antonio hard all week. On Monday, the southwest side took on significant floodwater. Tuesday, creeks overflowed. Water was up to the I-35 sign near Somerset and just under the freeway. Mark Verstiff lives and farms a few miles away.
We had 5.2 Monday, and we've had a few little showers in between. But today we've had, a while ago so far, about 3 3/4 inches, and it's still raining.
He explains without rain, there are no crops, but too much rain can make for a total loss. Depending on what you're growing, you can be in more trouble than others. According to Verstiff, the ones hurting most right now, produce farmers.
In the past years, when we had produce, that's how we lost it, was through conditions like this. You know, too much water, it just all decay. When you keep getting rains like this, the fruit is all full of water.
He tells us on Monday alone, produce in the area probably took on too much water. And they haven't had a dry day since and were hit hard again today. He knows times will be tough for his friends nearby growing squash and okra.
Of course, the squash is going to rot, and the okra, it doesn't like wet feet, so it won't do a whole lot until it starts drying out.
Right now, he's growing corn, which he says is doing fine, but he's not out of the woods yet. Rain chances in the forecast are dropping and aren't expected to be as bad, but his land is already extremely saturated and hard to navigate.
The crop's not pulling moisture anymore, and to get the soil to dry out so you can get heavy machinery in there to harvest and get it out, it becomes an issue.
Now, as we mentioned, Mark Verstiff has been farming pretty much his entire life, and he told me even though all this rain is making things difficult now, he's learned never to complain about the rain, because when you do, that's when you run into a drought and even more difficult situation. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Just too much of a good thing. Thanks, John Paul. New tonight, take a look at this. Nearly $1 million worth of drugs seized. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says 18 kilos of crystal meth and a gun seized in an undercover bus last week. The suspects met with the undercover investigators at a hotel room on the city's northwest side. 3 suspects arrested in the case. They are 39-year-old Sopopa Moya, 38-year-old Monica Reese, and 42-year-old Jesse Ruiz. All 3 are facing federal charges in this case. A 93-year-old man severely beaten nearly a year after his death. The man accused in the brutal assault now sentenced to 40 years in prison. 24-year-old Damian Jimenez pled guilty to the murder charge this morning. He must serve at least half of his 40-year sentence before he's eligible for parole. Police say Jimenez confronted the 93-year-old man outside of a convenience store in August of last year. An arrest affidavit states Jimenez punched and kicked the 93-year-old man in the face and head multiple times. Martinez, taken to the hospital, was in treatment for about a month before dying from those injuries.
A trailer home up in flames. Firefighters responding to the scene on Reedwell, that's on the east side, this morning. A search through the damage revealed a body among the debris. Investigators believe a man in his 60s burned to death. No one else was hurt. The cause for the fire is still under investigation. The Bexar County Medical Examiner is still working to identify the man killed. The medical examiner also investigating the death of a man shot and killed in his own home. Police say the bullets came from outside the residence overnight. Officers searched for clues in and around the home on Ferris Avenue near Martin Luther King Drive. The 63-year-old was shot in the back while in his bedroom. Witnesses told them the shooter left in a white compact car. That suspect is still on the run tonight.
It's still ahead on the Nightbeat. Vaccine pop-up clinics taking off at the San Antonio airport. What parents need to know about the new guidance from the CDC and the Delta variant.
And the manhunt ends for the man who turned a golf course into a murder scene. It's coming up next on the Nightbeat. A golf course turned murder scene. 3 people found dead, including a golf pro in Georgia. A suspect, Brian Roden, is now in custody, charged with murder and kidnapping. Kennesaw police say Roden ran away after allegedly shooting a man on the green near the 10th hole. 2 other men were found dead in the bed of his truck he was driving. Police say Eugene Siller, the golf pro, had stumbled upon the crime in progress and was killed because he was a witness. Siller's friend believes when he saw the truck drive onto the course, he approached it to help out.
He didn't go up there demanding justice with intensity. We all knew and were confident that he was offering a hand.
Police say the other victims are 46-year-old Henry Valdez and 76-year-old Paul Pearson. Their connection to the suspect, if any, is not known. Police believe Roden is the only shooter. They are still investigating a possible motive.
Now to the latest in the coronavirus pandemic. The CDC saying vaccinated teachers and students don't need to wear a mask inside school buildings. Meanwhile, the Delta variant continues to hit communities with low vaccination rates. ABC's Morgan Norwood with what parents and students need to know.
A big shift by the CDC as the agency urges schools to return to in-person learning this fall. The CDC issuing new guidelines now saying students, teachers, and staff who are fully vaccinated will not need to wear masks, but children 2 and older who aren't vaccinated should still mask up.
The science has showed us that we know what works to help keep schools safe and open for the coming school year.
According to the CDC, only 5% of kids aged 12 to 15 with at least 1 shot, 2.5% of 16 and 17-year-olds also with at least 1 dose. But from coast to coast, millions of children under age 12 still can't get the vaccine yet.
It's a little confusing. I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old, and they're not old enough to get shots yet. So we're still kind of worried about them going back to school in person.
In California, schools will continue to require masks, but in Arizona, a ban on mask mandates in schools. With the Delta variant rapidly spreading in under-vaccinated areas,
this rapid rise is troubling.
The race to vaccinate intensifying. In the past 2 weeks, 10 states have seen COVID-19 hospital admissions jump more than 20%. And as for schools, the CDC guidance are just recommendations. It would be up to the school districts to make their own rules and to decide whether to require proof of vaccination. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Here at home, vaccination clinics are popping up at the San Antonio International Airport. Metro Health says more than 100 people show up to this clinic each day. That includes a mix of both residents and those simply just passing through.
Well, I think it's worth it. So I'm a health worker, so I needed to get the vaccination before. That's the reason I did the flight. And then my kids are getting back to school, so I think it's a good idea.
One father and son traveled from Mexico to get the shot. Another mother and daughter made the trip to San Antonio partly for vacation and to also get the vaccine. The airport clinics are scheduled to continue every day through at least next Saturday. A reminder, the Spurs and the city are teaming up for vaccination drives and a chance to win a 10-game ticket giveaway. The first drive is scheduled for tomorrow at the AT&T Center. The second drive will happen July 17th at Toyota Field. People who receive their vaccines at these events will be entered into the Spurs raffle.
Makes perfect sense if you think about it. Get a shot of vaccine, get a shot at Spurs tickets to see the Spurs take their shot on the court.
There you go.
There you go. It all comes together.
Perfect.
All right, 76 degrees out there, Katie. What's the weekend hold in store?
Lower rain chances, not a complete bottoming out of rain chances, but much lower rain chances, and we'll even get some sun going tomorrow, so some improvement, and as I mentioned, a chance to dry off. A quick note here, as Patty mentioned in her story at the top of the newscast, we've already had 2.56 inches of rain this July at the airport in San Antonio. That's already more than our average July rainfall, which is around 2.4. So we're already doing better than average for the whole month of July. So that's good news, especially here as we are in the middle of summer. Rainfall today, part of that 2.56, 1.19 inches at the airport. Check out that high temperature, 79. That is the warmest we got. Our average high temperature this time of year is in the mid 90s, so much cooler than normal. Radar estimated rainfall across the board here. I want to show you quickly just across south central Texas. Everyone got in on a little bit of rainfall today, even out toward Del Rio. Nearly an inch of rain reported there. I believe maybe 0.79 at the airport there. 2.3 estimated in a portion of Kinney County. So some of these downpours did put down some slightly higher totals. The more widespread rain, especially in the early morning hours, was down a little bit closer to the Gulf Coast. We did have that heavy band of storms from Atascosa into southwestern Bexar County this afternoon that put down likely anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain, maybe even a little bit more than that. And that did prompt really the one flash flood warning that we had in place during the day today. So looking ahead to the weekend, low and rain chances do linger even overnight tonight. Some isolated showers will be possible. We've got a few of those moving through the city right now, and into Saturday afternoon, an isolated pop-up shower or non-severe storm. Then as we get into Sunday, that looks like our dry day for the upcoming weekend. I mentioned at the top of the show here, we have a little quick moving band of showers moving in from the southeast. So some more rain for you, Von Ormy, there in far southwestern Bexar County, and also some showers right along 87 here into Lavernia and Wilson County. Again, these are quick moving, just some quick light to moderate rainfall, and they'll be on their way. So I'm not expecting this activity to cause any flooding issues. We've also got some lingering showers out along Highway 90 up 83 toward Lakey and Real County, even a couple showers closer to the Rio Grande. Some really light radar returns down through a portion of Atascosa County as well. There's also some lingering rain down a little bit closer to Corpus Christi. I want to show you live cam one more time. We've got low clouds around, so skies will stay mostly cloudy or completely overcast through the overnight hours. If you've been with us the past couple of days, we've been talking about a low pressure system that has just been slowly meandering along the Texas coast. Well, today it finally lifted northwest, and tonight it is centered off to the west of I-35 in San Antonio. Overnight and during the day tomorrow, it's going to continue to weaken, run into the higher terrain of northern Mexico, kind of really fall apart. It'll leave us with a little bit of energy for some of those isolated showers tonight and through the day on Saturday. But rainfall tomorrow is going to be very hit or miss. Nothing like what we saw today. So again, an opportunity to kind of start to dry out a little bit tomorrow. More cloud cover through the first half of the day on Saturday, and then some sun in the afternoon, partly cloudy tomorrow evening as rain chances finally kind of bottom out of the forecast there. A dry day on Sunday. Now, our rain chances next week are going to be more typical for this time of year, mainly during the afternoon hours and confined a little bit closer to the Gulf of Mexico. Guys, thanks so much, Katie.
All right, a young Spur getting some great experience this summer.
Yeah, and is now on the Olympic team, but how long will that last for young Keldon Johnson? When we come back, more about this story coming out of Las Vegas and a spectator surprise for Rory McIlroy today. Coming up. Now, here's something you don't see every day. The 72-year-old head coach of the U.S. men's Olympic team running wind sprints in big board sports. Not bad at all, right? 2 weeks from today, the opening ceremonies of the COVID-delayed 2020 Olympics will take place in Tokyo with no fans due to a spike in COVID-related cases in the last 2 months. And today, Keldon Johnson was promoted from the U.S. select team to the Olympic team. This coming after Keldon had a breakout season, just his second year in silver and black, starting 67 to 69 games he played in. Prior to his promotion today, it will only be for the exhibition games while here in the United States. Keldon was being coached by Eric Spoelstra as a member of the U.S. select team to get Team USA ready for the Olympics. What does Pop hope that Keldon gets out of this experience?
Very quiet. Number one, confidence, knowing that he's regarded in a way that he's been accepted to come and play against the Olympic team. And that would build anybody's confidence. Development, he's playing under Eric Spoelstra, who's obviously a fantastic young coach. And it's great for him to hear some things from a different voice. So I think he'll come out development-wise a better player. So for those two major reasons, thrilled that he's here.
And Keldon, along with 2 others, are promoted to take the place of Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday, who will join the U.S. men's basketball team after the finals. It appears as if Becky Hammond will not get her dream job this offseason, the first female head coach in the history of the NBA. It's after Dallas assistant coach Jamal Mosley has become the frontrunner for the vacant head coaching position with the Orlando Magic. This was the only other job that Hammond had interviewed for this offseason after Stephen Clifford was fired by the Magic. According to ESPN, the opening had been narrowed down to Mosley and Denver assistant Wes Unseld Jr., with Mosley poised to be the Magic's next coach. The Phoenix Suns have taken a 2-0 lead of the Milwaukee Bucks to the NBA Finals. Are now 2 wins away from claiming their first ever NBA championship in franchise history. And they did it with a combined effort to hold off the Bucks' aggressiveness in Game 2. All 5 starters were in double figures, led by Devin Booker, who had 31 points and included 7 3-pointers in this game. Chris Paul added 23, but Mikal Bridges stepped up to pour in 27 points. But everyone was talking about the final play of the first half. That's when the ball went from Paul to Booker to Jay Crowder to Bridges, back to Crowder to Paul, then over to Crowder, back to Bridges, and finally, watch this, as it finds its way inside to DeAndre Ayton for the basket and the foul. An 11-point lead at halftime. Suns play team basketball in a 118-108 victory.
That's just who we are. One of our pillars is sharing the ball. You know, my time in San Antonio and being under Pop for all those years, I learned that when the ball moves like that, 1, everybody gets to take ownership, and 2, it can have an effect on the defense when you move the ball. Now, it's not a commonplace in the NBA to have that many passes, but that was a huge momentum play for us. But that's who we've been for 2 years.
We have a saying with our team, it's called good to great. You know, we pass up good shots to get great shots, and it's the unselfishness of our team. Any coach in America, I'm sure they love to show their team that clip, and, you know, DA finished it at the end.
Meantime, the Milwaukee Bucks gave the Suns a run for their money in Game 2 behind Giannis Antetokounmpo's 42 points, even though it looks like that left knee was hyperextended in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, was tested more than once. Drew Holiday got out to a hot start after being limited in Game 1 to just 10 points. He would finish with 17 this time. But Chris Middleton had been the key in Antetokounmpo's absence in Games 5 and 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's only good for 11, that included just 1 of 6 from three-point range. The Bucks have been here before, down 2-0 in a playoff series.
We just gotta keep staying aggressive. Going back to Milwaukee, you know, we've been here before. We know what the deal is. Just gotta be aggressive, keep enjoying, you know, playing together, keep enjoying playing basketball. You know, and hopefully our good habits, you know, throughout the year can, you know, take over, and now we can put ourselves in a position to win the game. But we know what the deal is.
All right, games 3 and 4 in Milwaukee starting on Sunday. The surprise at the Scottish Open that caught everyone off guard. Next. Top-seeded Novak Djokovic looking to advance to his 7th Wimbledon final, taking on Denis Shapovalov. Opening set, tiebreak. Djokovic up 5-3, charges the net, buries the winner, taking the first set 7-6. Third set, Djokovic serving for the match. Watching blast an ace for the game set match. Djokovic wins 7-6, 7-5, 6-5. Advances to his 30th major final with a chance to win his 20th major championship, would be tied for the most in men's tennis history. Rory McIlroy was about to tee off at the Scottish Open today when a fan walks on his 10th tee box and looks like he knows what he's doing, takes one of the covers off a driver, and then borrows an iron. And then look at Rory's face there. Then he takes a few practice swings before he's asked to leave and then return the cover as well. He was also ejected from the course. Look, they just can't believe what's going on. They go, who is this guy? And he's teeing up the ball, actually. And they're looking like, is there an official here, a security guy? Can kind of come over and tell us what's going on here? Yeah. They can check their security.
What is going on with fans these days?
I don't know.
Can I ask that question? I mean, who thinks that that's a good idea?
And that close to a star golfer gets on the course.
Wow.
All right.
We'll be right back. We'll take a look at this. This baby elephant couldn't resist some fun in the mud. The Asian elephant.
Nice.
This is a great video. The Asian Elephant Breeding and Rescue Center captured one of its baby elephants enjoying a muddy hillside in southwestern China.
He's just a baby. Whee! Good morning, San Antonio
So
starts at 6 a.m.
Good night.